I'm Robin. I have pfafa, and we're just going to explain the definition and basically what it is a bit more so you guys can understand. So this is my mum. Hello. And she's going to be helping me out because I'm really bad at this part. So yeah.
The definition of pfafa.
Yeah. Definition of pfafa.
So pfafa is a periodic fever syndrome. So these fevers happen for no apparent reason. There can be sometimes little telltale signs like the skin can go quite mottled, pale.
Blue fingertips and lips.
Yeah, the fingertips and lips. And also the glands in the neck can become quite swollen.
I can't tell you what it means to me in terms of medical, in terms of a medical term. I can tell you what it means to me in terms of you having been poorly for a very long time, having to live with the condition since you were a baby, really, and how that manifested itself. You had very sudden onsets of fever, which would last just a few hours and sometimes 2 or 3 weeks at a time. They were so severe that when you were playing and you would all of a sudden look very, very pale and peakish, and you would be from a normal temperature to a temperature of 40 degrees within an hour, and the extreme heat you'd experience would make your fingers blue, your toes and feet would look blue, your lips would be blue, and on some occasion you would start fitting because of the sudden rise in your body temperature. And everybody would be in a panic. An ambulance would have to come. You'd go to hospital. They'd do lots of tests. They didn't know what it meant. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with you, and we went on for that for quite a while you were a baby, and then a toddler, and then obviously a little girl after that. Until the day you were referred to Ormond Street, but very quickly we found out that you had pfafa when you were referred to Ormond Street, but we also found out that only a handful of children, well, less than 10 children, were affected by that condition in the UK at the time. And we had many trips to Ormond Street. The impact on you was quite drastic because it meant school was always interrupted, any activity you did was always interrupted, and of course as a family everybody needed a lot of support. Sort of your mum, you know, everybody was involved in looking after the family and after you.
I think Omi said most of the things that it covered in a practical way, but to me, most of the things about pfafa is the way that the NHS failed you personally and everybody as a family. Not being very open-minded about the situation, not investigating it properly, and actually the NHS behaved rather badly about it. And it's very sad to say that the educational system was just as bad. Schools promising that they could deal with issues and being provided with lots of information about what pfafa was, how it affected you and how you should be treated so that you could go to school and attend, and actually within a very short time documents being lost, and them deciding that actually it was just all too much trouble and they couldn't be bothered. And personally, I feel very resentful about that, about the way that you were treated. In a way, I don't really know what it means, because it's so many things, and so many ways that it affected and still does affect your life, and by affecting you, it affected everybody else in the family.
It means a lot of difference, not just the illness itself. Vapotony was not just you being ill, having to look after you, this syndrome lasting for 2 weeks at a time, having to be with you 24/7 and help you go to the bathroom, taking your temperature regularly.
What was it like when you had to take them to the bathroom?
I'd say it impacted you more, because when you get older, it's embarrassing. When you were little, it's no different. You know, you pick you up and take you to the bathroom. It's nothing when you're little, but as you got older, it was harder for you, because it's embarrassing for your mum to have to help you to the bathroom. Because I'm mum, I'm there to help. You know, I think the hardest thing was that because of the illness and all the hospital appointments, and every time you had a fever attack, we had to take you to the hospital for you to have blood taken. You missed a lot of school and socialising and what they'd call normal events, you know. So that was very hard on you. You know, you weren't able to form big friendship circles, because a lot of people didn't understand. A lot of your so-called friends at the time didn't really understand what was going on, so that was difficult. And it also made things difficult with schools, because it's such a rare disease. They couldn't understand it themselves, even though they had information from doctors and gave them leaflets and bits and pieces. They couldn't understand, so they failed you in a lot of ways. And when you were ill at school, they wouldn't phone, so sometimes when we came to collect you, you were pale white with a raging fever, not able to walk that well, and even though they saw all of that, they did nothing. They just wanted you to stay, because all they could see was their stats being ruined by you leaving. In the end, we had all the principals say how much they didn't want you there because you were ruining their stats, because you had so much time off, you know, when you were ill, and had all the appointments in London and in Bury. And the problem was that it wasn't just with the pfafa, it also caused other issues. You found it very hard to gain weight, and every time you gained the weight, you lost the weight, you know, and it also affected your kidneys. So it was a multitude of things which has now impacted your bowels, you know. So it's taken us a long time, you know. It's that what is pfafa? Pfafa is just is a whole host of things, and you know, you were failed with the NHS quite a bit, and then some of the NHS, they wanted to use you as a guinea pig, and